Aries, I think that you're going through something. And I know that that's a general, like, duh, you know? Um, no, but this is something that would have really caught you in your Achilles heel, which can be your pride. You are a creature by nature of action. It doesn't have to be fighting, right? Yes, you're ruled by the warrior planet Mars, but that doesn't mean you're always ready to go to war or fight. That is the stereotype. We see meme after meme of Aries videos, Aries memes, just wanting to fight for stupid reasons. But your fight doesn't always come out in actual fist-to-face kind of fighting. Your fighting comes out in your actions, in the way that you behave. And that could be studying harder, or working later, or staying up all hours of the night, just getting things done. You are, by your nature, a creature of action. But what that action is, I mean, there's a gamut of actions. But as long as you're doing, feeling like you're changing things through your actions, getting things done, driven, absolutely almost obligated to not be able to stop until you feel like you fix things by taking action. And when I say that there has been something that has really hit you hard, it is that it's hit you in your ability to take action. And in doing so, has taught you, or is teaching you, a whole heck of a lot about faith and patience. We don't want to necessarily change, certainly not our mindsets. Mostly because we don't usually realize that our mindsets have to be changed. It's our mindsets that we make the decisions that we make with, right? It's at some point we just sort of assume that that's reality and we keep moving on from there. But ultimately, that's really not, is it? Somebody else's experiences come and they collide with ours, and laws of physics say that something will continue to move. Something in motion stays in motion until acted upon by an exterior force, and that so often can be somebody else's perspective or somebody else's life and experiences that crash into our worlds and open them up and change them for good. And something is changing your mindset. And I know that you guys went hard and it hit you hard. This retrograde especially, it's not like the first time Mars has ever gone retrograde, but this retrograde especially, and it left permanent imprints on you. There has definitely been a realization or a recognition that something has to change in the way that you do things. And I do feel that the change is coming centered usually around somebody, a person, that there has to be some sort of forgiveness for. And it's not so much about them as it is about what being able to forgive means to you, and what it means moving forward as to the way that you handle things. You're never going to want to stop taking action. That's not you. But it's interesting how we can learn to take a different kind of action, how different actions and the choices that we make and the actions that we take based on those choices, how they define who we are. And it's become so evident and so clear that certain actions lead to more pain, and other actions could help to heal it. And that, my lovely, lovely and dear Aries, is something that you have learned. And now it's impacting how you decide and what you decide, or what you've allowed yourself to be your set of decisions or your set of choices. And what that means is now beforehand, maybe you didn't see even that you had any other choice, or that you didn't see that you had more than a couple of choices based on, what you currently had thought, well, I can either deal with this person at work, or I can leave, or I could, deal with this person at work, or I can work my butt off so that I can get another position and not ever have to talk to them again. And now it's more like I could learn from this person, but I could also realize that this job, these four walls, this relationship is not the end all be all of my existence. It doesn't define who I am. I define who I am. And my actions are best placed in the actions of building and constructing my own life and my own access to new experiences. And so if I don't like the experiences that I'm having, perhaps I am or have been making the wrong choices and putting myself into the wrong situations. These kinds of aha moments are going to happen a lot now because of the conjunction between Jupiter and Saturn. Saturn rules karma, worldly confines and restrictions and even punishments in a lot of ways. That's what karma could be. It's a very weak understanding of karma, but it doesn't matter. It can lead to consequences because that's what Saturn does, is it defines things. It defines the 3D world. But Jupiter doesn't do that. Jupiter expands and broadens our minds and gives us optimism to look at things in ways that can make us grow and make us happier, which is why it's called the planet of good luck and good fortune. And how interesting it is that good luck is really just sort of an outcome of our own positive thinking. If you really think about it, we find our luck by keeping our brains open. And I always say that J.K. Rowling is a genius for many reasons, but one of her most genius things was the invention of the Felix Felicis potion and the way that it affected Harry. It was not all of a sudden everything he ever wanted just came to him. It was a potion that affected his choices. And it opened and broadened his mind to cue him into the flow of the universe, so that when he focused on a goal, on what he really wanted, it just helped him find his pathway there. It didn't put it in his lap. And it did it through opening his mind and allowing him to trust in the flow and where the universe was pulling him. If you ask the universe for help, let it help you. Let it help you. And it's interesting and most challenging for the warrior to take help, to accept help, even from the supernatural, right? Even from the powers that be that are greater than you. It still is the most challenging thing for you. Don't let pride get in your way. This is sun energy. It's also your sense of self. And it's interesting how Leo you would think would rule the house of self, but it doesn't. Leo rules the house of heart, the house of your life's purpose. That's what it rules. That's what its focus is on. And you rule the house of self, the self that you're born with, understanding who you are, nurturing who you are, accepting who you are. And sometimes, honestly, Aries, that can become an occupational hazard. It could be that just like a lot of celebrities get too involved in themselves, ruling the first house, all that first house energy, that Mars energy impacting you all the time, could make you what I call a responsibility hog. Oh, it's always on my shoulders. The weight of the world is always on my shoulders. And I'm sure that you feel it sitting there. And in a lot of ways, it makes you fiercer and it makes you stronger, and you've accepted it as something that motivates you. And in so many ways, that's great. But in other ways, because everything has its yin yang, right? It's crushing. And so it's one thing to honor oneself. It's another thing to be prideful. And that's why there's the pride before the fall, right? Yeah, so this is it. This is that moment. This is a sense of, are you being prideful? Are you thinking with the old mindset when you have so much ability to think with the new mindset? And sitting right next to this card is Pisces. Openness and non-judgment and acceptance of all, as well as kindness and tenderness and flexibility, malleability. Somehow allowing yourself to feel this through more than drive it through. Allowing this malleability to kind of affect your pride, impact it, counteract it, put out the fire, if you will. This is a coming together. Neptune acting on Mars. Neptune acting on Mars. I'm trying to think of the chart and how it's impacting, because I know for a fact that Neptune is in a direct square now to the nodes, and that Mars has a cozy little comfort zone with the South Node, with the past. So there's something coming from your past that you are helping to heal. I think it's a relationship. Now, what kind of relationship? Friendship? Ex? Sure. It's not like a Mercury retrograde, though, where just an ex is texting you or an old friend comes out of the blue. This is actually, because of the Saturn-Jupiter conjunction, it's your mindset. The person may not even be coming back into your life. It could just be, for some reason, you've been thinking about them a lot, and let yourself think about them, because your mind is trying to give you a chance to heal this section of your life, because somehow it is still impeding you and impacting the way that you treat others. And that's why there's that, your brain consciously may not connect it, but this is your faith. This is that faith, right? The leap of faith that you have to take. Just let your mind go there. Let your mind go there, even if you don't see the connection to what's going on now, because it is connected. And subconsciously, you've already known that. You've already identified it. Subconsciously, there's a connection, and there's a reason why you're thinking of them. And the reason, really topically, why you're thinking about them is to be able to heal. Right? It's to be able to put out the fire, put out the hurt, put out the pain by learning, what did this all teach me? Like, when I came full circle and I really came back around to this individual, and I do feel like it's centering around an individual or a couple of individuals, people that maybe you feel you've left things untied with, because there's a sense of that Aries fire just being like, nope, fuck you, peace out. When you're done, when I'm done with you, I'm done with you. But ultimately, does that teach us anything? And it doesn't mean that you're going to take this person back into your life. What it means is that you're understanding things that happened between you in a different way now. And it's a way that's helping you to grow. And it's prepping you for what you need to know. Not necessarily like need to know, but need to understand. To be who you need to be, to get to the place you need to get. Divine masculine, that's you. That's Mars energy. That's progress. But you're making progress with understanding who it is that you really belong with, and how it is your part in creating this family, this soul family of yours. Like, what is your part? Yes, you are the protector. Yes, you are the warrior. Yes, you are the energy source, the provider. But is that all you are? Is that all you can be? And if you're always that thing, do you ever give anybody else the chance to be that to you? There is an ebb and flow. Yes, we do carry certain roles. We do play certain roles. But ultimately, we also have to give those roles to other people sometimes and let ourselves experience how it feels to receive. Because you are not just divine masculine energy. You are not just the giver, the creator, the manifester, the progress. You're human, so you have feminine energy in you too. So there's almost this sense of finding the balance now. Finding the balance to your pride. Allowing somebody to help you. you know, to carry you. Maybe you're the baby in this picture for once, having faith in somebody else's ability to be able to be trusted, to be able to provide. There is some trouble here, some struggle. Yes, it could have been your fault. It could have been their fault. It's not about the fault. Right now, it's just you need help. Or maybe that's what it is. You need help. You need help from your friends. For once, you don't need to be the one that solves everything. This is getting by and getting help. This is your soul family. This is your soul tribe. Being around people who care about you, who love you, want to nurture you, want to protect you. Leaning on people, knowing that you can, and knowing that that's okay right now. Breaking down that wall of, but I have to be strong. You are strong. You are strong. Being malleable is not lack of strength. It's a different kind of strength. See? This is all streaming from this, our lovely Lenormand. You have the mountain, which is obstacles in your way. And you have the crossroads, which is shifts, change, decisions that you're thinking of making. And then the stork, which is change, transitioning, or spiritual growth. So ultimately, there is just this sense of your mindset being an offset of your spiritual growth and how it's changing based on an obstacle. Realizing that you're never going to get over this obstacle, realizing what this obstacle really is. Like, have I haven't found a great relationship, or I have a relationship and there's always issues in it. And it's like you're realizing, oh, this isn't really a relationship issue. This is a mindset issue that's causing the relationship issues. That's what it is. That's what it is. And that's what you're realizing. And it's not about blame. It's not about blame. It's about future success. Because in learning this, in understanding this, now you have a different mindset to fall back on when you're dealing with somebody different. A lot of things that are closing out right now are prepping us for our future, for where we are meant to go and who we are meant to be with. I'm not kidding. And somebody's sneaking over here. So there's some sort of stagnation or discommunication, maybe somebody that you haven't talked to in quite some time. But ultimately, there's also a sense of stuck. In other words, that lack of communication didn't help you move on. That lack of communication made things stop where they were and not move forward. And that's not you. That will never be you. To not move forward is not you, which means that if you're thinking about the situation, it's because you know that there needs to be a conversation, because it can't be stuck. That clog is what makes you unhealthy. So ultimately, it's about you realizing that a conversation has to be had, that things need to be discussed, or issues that, that have been long buried need to come up. Right? This is also a sense of just sort of stagnating right now in terms of, maybe just in terms of your health, or in terms of your, anything that would make you feel stuck, would make you feel like a drain is clogged and it's making you more and more unhealthy. Like that sort of, but understand that this was the only card that came out face up. So in other words, you've realized this. This energy that you're in right now is about realizing what's wrong, realizing what's stuck and what's making you unhealthy, and that gives you power. So here in the past, we have basically just being completely and totally trashed on, losing sight of the goodness in the bad and letting the bad overcome you, letting the pain, sorrow, hardship, failure, all of those things overcoming you, overwhelming you. So this could very well be a clog or a sickness that started quite some time ago, but now it's just manifesting surfacely now. Sort of like a spiritual pain, or even a reoccurring illness in some way, because this is Aquarius energy, this is Gemini energy. There's just some sort of recognition, realization coming out right now. But it's good because it's become very much more evident. some sort of news coming into you. It's news, however, that will help you become unstuck and will help you move on. And change. Change so that you can permanently be stronger from this. Now is a lucky time. So this is a time of fertility. This is a time of, and this is a little bit in the past, so it's coming out with other cards. What are they? Time to collaborate. Okay. All right. And then time for a beginner mindset. So this is definitely defensive stance, but also confidence. Confidence in the way that this is also Aquarian energy. It is becoming very much aware of the way that your actions affect or impact other relationships. The way that your strength has, yes, it has developed, but in a lot of ways also become more protective, more defensive. It's just a realization and an understanding of how your armor has impacted your relationships and how it's sort of like multiplied, maybe even multiplied like out of hand. It also could be talking about a decision that you made about relationships and what you decided to just stop and block because you didn't think it was working. But ultimately, there's pain here. There's a sense of loss. Even though these cards are actually really beautiful energy, there's something about it I don't like. And I'll figure it out. Miracles are endless. So this is money. Finances could be being really, because this is current, it's going really, really well for you. But this is also a sense of abundance, like a feeling of being safe and being secure because you do have all the resources that you need. But this is Taurus. Taurus is changing. It's almost like if everybody else doesn't have the resources too, it's not good enough that I do. That's what this is. That it isn't just about me. That I want everybody to be doing very well. I want to take everybody along with me. I don't want this to just be me out front alone. I spend too much time like that. That, by the way, is a cardinal sign trait, except for maybe Libra. But Libras have a way of being alone in relationships, especially when those relationships go rotten. They do. So cardinal signs have an unfortunate caveat to their character. And if you're just watching, you're just getting into this stuff, Aries is a cardinal sign. It is, I call it the cardinal of all cardinals because, well, it's the first house, right? But it's also, there's just so much energy in Aries. But ultimately, a lot of times cardinal signs get too comfortable being alone and doing things on their own. Oh, wow, this is beautiful. Oh, wow, this is a lot of abundance. But this is also an acceptance of, you know what, I didn't get this by myself. I didn't arrive here on my own, that I had spirit helping me the whole time, you know, and it's almost like that strength in realizing that you don't get all the credit. Because if you don't get all the credit, you also don't get all the blame. And you're learning how to disperse those things about yourself, to not need all the credit and not take all the blame, that it really isn't, for better or worse, all about you all the time. And it's not about arrogance. It's about, like I said, responsibility, thinking, because you have so much energy, you just sort of assume that ultimately you got to do everything. And it feels good to stay active. Absolutely. And I'm not saying don't be active. I'm saying be active in a different way, right? Be active in a different way. Be active with your consciousness. Be active with your trust or faith in other people. Set healthy boundaries. Wow. And this is the card that's like the staple of it all. A sense of, have I set healthy boundaries? Because when this card is, this is Cancerian energy, and Cancerian is just the perfect representation here for setting healthy boundaries, because Cancerians have a big trouble with boundaries, right? When it's like this is a sense of you've set too many boundaries. There's too much weight on you, and it's crushing you, right? And it's keeping you from happiness. So there's a sense of recognizing it and starting to sort of almost contemplate, well, how do I do things differently then, for moving on, so that I don't crush myself with these responsibilities. But it's not just earthly responsibilities, it's mental, it's emotional. And ultimately, when you let go of those, seeing all of this has to do with, okay, we're going to get into tarot. Let's get into tarot. That link is below. You can always hop over to the extended right now or stick around for your angel messages, please. But anyway, I'll see you over in the extended if you're hopping over there now. Also, please do click subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet, and then ring that bell so you get notified. I upload Aries specific content every Thursday, but you'll get notified of the 12 plus videos I upload all week long. So there's constant spiritual development going on here. And then, of course, join me over on Instagram, where after I get back from vacation, I will be... I do live readings, of like general readings every day. We can shoot the shit for about an hour, Monday through Friday. So join me for those. Born_without_boundaries over on Instagram. Okay. Lots of angel cards. And what that tells me is there is lots of healing, but there's lots of protection. There's also a sense of, you know what? We need to rally around Aries right now, because so many times it's the people who do things themselves or assume the responsibility on their own. They start to get overlooked, you know, because it's almost like, oh, you ever realize that when you're a kid, it's like, no, I'll do it on my own. I'll do it on my own. And now nobody offers you help ever. You're always expected to do it alone. And like, that's not what you want all the time. Surrender. There is no point in pushing the barrel up such a steep hill. Go back to the start. Surrender your expectations. There is an easier way. When the time is right, a new path will appear. Interesting. Okay. Perfect for this reading. Integrity. Be flexible, but also be true to you. Stand by your beliefs and values, and others will stand by and believe in you. So standing by who you are, yes, but also letting somebody stand by you as well. Like letting somebody into that world. I have to articulate it. Determination, perseverance, and patience will lead to a positive outcome. And that's not talking about banging your head against the wall, right? That's about, I'm going to get through this. And it's like almost being so determined that you're willing to try something new. Adventure. Instead of seeing the current situation as an obstacle, try seeing it as an adventure. Explore all the possibilities. There are many more than you currently imagine. Instead of seeing things as either black or white, try to explore the colors in between. Truth. The best way through the current situation is just speak your truth. Contrary to what you may think, no one will be hurt if you express exactly how you feel. Now, your truth is your truth, not somebody else's or your interpretation of somebody else's truth. And that's where not just Aries, all signs get it wrong. You know, my truth is that you did something to me. No, my truth is that I am hurt. I am sad that this situation between us affected me this way. This is how it affected me. It impacted me, and how it's continued to impact my life. That's your truth. Like, that's the real truth. Not an accusation or a criticism, but a revelation of what's going on inside of you and how it impacted you. Because ultimately, you or ourselves, we're the only ones that we can ever really be sure of. So everything outside of us, no matter how smart we are or how much even quantifiable data we have, it's an assumption. And it's even irrelevant, because it's really about sharing how it impacted you. Change. Life is a journey. It would be very unfulfilling if each step was exactly the same as the last, because life is always changing. It is forever fresh and new. Allow your life to unfold gracefully. Be grateful for what was, is, and forever will be. Think global. You are being encouraged to spread your wings. Think outside the square. You are a citizen of the world. Expand your vision. Imagine the world within your heart. Embrace it. Surround it with love. Let it be, and so it will be. Let's go to tarot. We're going to articulate everything and get specifics. Link is below. I'll see you over there, Aries.